Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Eric Fields, a psychologist specializing in addiction with over 20 years of experience. And today I'm going to talk more about sports gambling addiction in particular. Now, if you have a sports gambling addiction, if you are a compulsive sports gambler, then I don't have to sit here and convince you that you've lost a lot of money doing this activity. By definition, when it becomes an addiction, a compulsion, and it becomes infused with a high degree of emotionality, you're no longer in control. And when you are not in control of this behavior, chances are extremely high that you're going to be losing money. You are going to be in the red for the lifetime that you've been doing this activity, or over the course of your lifetime that you've been doing this activity, I should say. That's not something that's difficult to convince you of. But if you're looking for another reason to really finally either stop this behavior altogether or really try to get it under control, make progress with this, here's something else you need to consider. Gambling, compulsive gambling, is the biggest time succubus of all. It robs you of so much time. Not only do you waste so much time doing this actual compulsive gambling, but think of all the time you waste thinking about gambling, recovering from gambling, feeling badly about yourself because of your compulsive gambling, trying to find ways to get out of debt because of your gambling, and maybe having to work more to get out of debt or to pay your gambling debts. Here's another way to really look at gambling's adverse impact on your time. We live in a modern society, and in a modern society, we use currency. In America, we use money such as dollar bills, et cetera, right? And this money, our currency in America, represents time. When you get money, when you get paid for the job that you do, essentially what is happening is the company, the employer, your boss is paying you for your time. This dollar bill, this $100 bill, this currency is a symbol or a token of time that you gave this company. So when you think about gambling and all the time you waste because of that compulsive activity, also think about all the time you've wasted in terms of the money you lost, because that money represents hard work. That money represents hours and hours and hours of time that you've given to somebody else. So when you lose $1,000 in a week, think of how much time it takes you to make $1,000 at your job. And that's what you really lost, that time. On top of the time you wasted with gambling. Gambling then really doubly screws you. And this is something that's really important because when you just think of losing money, sometimes it can be abstract. And I've had a lot of sports gamblers tell me, it doesn't even feel real because it's just, digits on a computer screen. And they press a button and the digits go away. And eventually they feel the impact of those digits being kind of extinguished. But this idea of money and currency is kind of abstract until we really think about what it represents. And it represents your valuable time that you busted your hump, that you put into your job, that you're not going to just get back. Why is time such a better consequence to motivate you to finally do something about this behavior? Well, because as human beings, nothing is more important to us, I assure you. It's an existential concern, right? It has to do with the fact that we only have one life and it is limited. We only have so much time on this earth. And that is our most precious commodity. And so when you think of it from this vantage point that I'm proposing today, it really starts to feel like a gut punch, a big gut punch, more so than money, right? A lot of times you lose money in gambling and you say like, oh, that sucks. Now it's going to be more difficult to pay the rent, or maybe I don't have money for the rent or my mortgage this month, or now I can't go out and buy those nice clothes I wanted to buy, or I can't go out on those nice dates this week. And we think of money in that way, like what it can do for us, right? We lost money, so now we don't have that money that could do something for us. But we don't think of money often in terms of what it really represents, rather than what it can do for you. And you lost an opportunity, right, to do something or to get something in your life. You lost time. This can be super powerful to motivate you to finally do something about your sports gambling addiction. This is why you feel so badly about it. How many times have you said to yourself, when am I going to stop this? I just keep losing money. And maybe you're still making rent payments and you're still able to pay your mortgage or your car payments or your student loan payments. But something about it feels just really fundamentally wrong. And this is it. That feeling that you get when you're thinking to yourself, I don't like losing money, but it feels like it's worse than just losing money. It is. And this is why. And as human beings, like I said, time is our most precious commodity. So if we're squandering time, we're really going down the wrong track. Now, if you tell me that you're spending a lot of time with this gambling and money, and you're totally okay with it, and you're feeling good about it, it's enjoyable, it's worth it to you, okay? So when you're looking at it from this perspective, time and money being traded for something that's really enjoyable and doesn't make you feel guilty, then by all means, and I'm not saying this sarcastically, do you. You do you. I do not pass judgment on anybody. If you feel that it's worth the amount of time that you're spending on this activity, then by all means. Who am I to tell you any differently? So this episode is not for people that are okay with this activity. This episode is for people who really want to gain control over this and do something about it, because it is a problem and it makes them feel really crappy about themselves. And they're feeling very guilty. And it's having a lot of adverse effects on their life that they are not okay with. But they just can't seem to find a more significant consequence to motivate them. This is the more significant consequence that you haven't considered. This is Dr. Fields, and I hope that this episode jolts you into action if you've been having a real hard time doing something or taking the first step towards doing something about this addiction. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.